Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. So glad to be able to come before you today and to share with you the lifted understanding that I have received in my hopes of being able to see if we as a people can rise and rise. When I say advocate for basic human rights, I am saying that if you look at a rock, that rock exists for a whole bunch of purposes. First of all, the thing that makes it a rock are all there, working together. And the process for which it came, even before that, something that say, well, a rock it's a good thing to have a rock. So just for our understanding, I'll say an idea. And so that idea brought forth just by that craving, that desire to have it be, manifest whatever was needed, and we have a rock. So when I talk about human beings, I'm talking about there are certain things that make human beings, that have to be there working collectively together. But even before that, based upon the analogy just given, that an idea existed. And from that idea, we have what we have. And in that, it requires that for that to continue to exist, to maintain it, certain things are necessary. And it is those things that are necessary that promotes the survival of the human being that I represent when I say basic human rights for all people. That's the ability to continue to survive, and at the highest order. Today, I want to speak to you on something that is kind of important. It's specific in what's happening in the current events of today. And I would like to entitle this presentation, Equal Playing Field. We've heard that expression many times before. Equal playing field. Now, as I was in bed this morning, I was awakened with the news speaking. And I heard that Matt Lauer of NBC had been released from his job because of some adverse association having to do with sexual unappreciation from a woman. And that this is something that is not going to be tolerated, and this as a practice is sending a message to all America that women will be respected. And my reason here today, having considered that, I wanted to bring a little bit of understanding to those of you who are out there so judgmental. And I could think of no better way to explain it than in the message of equal playing field. You see, there was a time that when it came down to women and men, there was no equal playing field. In fact, they still don't have an equal playing field. They're working on it, and with this kind of activity, you see they are growing closer and closer to it. But there was a time when that was far from the case. Men represented stuff. Men represented basic human rights for themselves and to whom they desired it for. You had women totally dependent upon men. First, you say a family, which if the man was in the family or boys, dependent upon men. So socially dependent upon men. Now, does that mean that women have had any less desire in life? No, it does not. It just means that it was a heck of a complication. And so men knew this. So what men would do, they would do the same things that they do today. They exploit women. A woman wants something, a man will get it for her, if he could exploit her. Sometimes, this being the order of the day, men were bold enough to actually go to women and make a presentation women having that desire, sometimes being repressed by the education that they've been given, and fight these things, but the desire to be more than just there says yes. And so women have been exploited throughout time. Bill Cosby is kind of glad that other people are recognizing what's going on, and it is happening. And I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with it. I'm talking about an equal playing field. And so even today, when people are doing drugs, they get strung out, addicted, and they can be motivated to do anything by a man or a woman, craving to have what they don't have, but guaranteed to themselves that they must eat. That's not an equal playing field. And so when you think about this starting like that, coming on through these ages, and here we are, standing here today, with these things still happening. Even evidence is being given by some to reach way back, decades ago, be used to punish at a time like this. Punish, and is it punishment that we're seeking? Is it truly punishment that we're seeking? Or if it is it punishment that we should be seeking? What should we be seeking in the eyes of this guy? Justice. Punishment is no justice. No. What do you benefit from a punishment of somebody else? No. If you think that's a benefit, you've definitely been sleeping in the dark for a long time. But it's the evidence of a lack of an equal playing field. Now, if it's there, if you can see it there, and I'm sure you do, you'd be scared to say you didn't. So I know you do. But look at this. That's the way of the world. That's the way of the United States of America. What do we have? We have these men, like in the position of the women, depending on something else. And so they have to walk according now to the future, according to the dictates of this is which they're dependent on. But then I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, what is it that they are dependent on? Now, if the men represent the order of the women in their exploitative state, who is it that represents the men of that state? Well, look at it like this. Who doesn't this principle work for? Right now, the President of the United States has boldly stated before the American people all of these ugly things, if you want to call it that. I mean, he talked about it in ways you haven't heard these people talk about it, and it came out of his mouth. But, like the women who were exploited, the men who were being positioned in an exploited state, why? Because now we have this man was rewarded with the presidency of the United States. And who rewarded him of the presidency? You, the people. By doing that, you said all that he had done, maybe it happened, but it ain't that bad. It's okay, let's get him. Then you walk back home and look in your television to see all these other guys who've done the same thing, and all of a sudden you're holier than thou. Get him, get him, get him. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here fussing. That's just an unequal playing field. And these are the consequences of it. These are the things that happen when you're dealing with an unequal playing field. I don't want to stop there. We have government in America where they're trying to get a tax bill passed. And in that tax bill, we're talking about money. Where the receipts are going to go. And the big fight today is that a certain group of people say it's going to go. The benefits of the tax program if it passes, will go to the richest people. Who will get hurt? The poorest people. Isn't that something? You think the poorest people will go for this on a level playing field? I don't think so. They might. Then they're going to when they got there. That's it. But no level playing field. The tax situation. The bulk of it goes. The benefits to those who don't even need it. And who suffers? Those who can't afford to lose a thing. But they lose to pay for that. That's the result of an unequal playing field, ladies and gentlemen. And I think about speaking to these levels. There's one other level I'd like to associate here at this moment. Today, I also heard on the news that the gentleman over in North Korea had exercised and experimented with a device capable of perhaps threatening the world. Threatening the world. And it seems as if everybody's nervous. I don't know why they're nervous. There are many countries right now who got that device that could do the same damage anywhere in the world that he could do. But I slept good last night. Why am I nervous today? Is it because the field of play has not been level? Is it because when you have done something to people and hurt them so bad you're afraid you think you're going to get even with you? Is it a statement that if you were an oppressor or a slave owner, that you can never relax and be comfortable with a slave because you feel that the slave owes you something? Why do you feel that way? I know, I'll tell you why. Because if you were in that position, you would definitely feel that you're going to get even. And so you think everybody feels that way. And then you say, stop, I say. Hold your breath for a moment. Hold your breath. Those who have the nuclear weapon, they are not using them on people especially that got them. They're not even dropping bombs on people that got them. But if you don't have them, what are we talking about? An equal and level playing field. And so what I am using this message today to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that these are just examples, but they continue. For the poor of this country and the poor around the world, you're not going to get the end of that just by it stopping. It's not going to go away at anything trickling down. It's not going to happen. It's going to stop when you do like the women are doing. We're not going to take it anymore. And when you mean that, men will keep their hands off your butt. When you're poor, systems that are devised by people to protect you will protect you because you're not going to take it anymore. Like the women. And so as spokesman for basic human rights for all people, I come before you continuously and say, you see what you got. But I like to advocate for peace and prosperity and joy for every American. Peace, prosperity, and joy for every human being alive. That's what I advocate for. And how do I do this? By meeting the basic needs: food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, and a job of your own choosing. Gives you life. Make your dreams come true. You put your hands to it every day. You don't know about a cent because it don't cost nothing. You just do your job and it comes together like a puzzle. And there you sail, missing none of these things. And it's not just restricted to those basic elements that you need, but those other, what you might call toys. like traveling to Jupiter, being able to advance the civilization. So these things can happen because what happened? You changed and you opened yourself up to be a receptacle of the great imagination and understanding that allowed you to be more than bigots and warmongers. Yes, I talk to you, ladies and gentlemen, because when you sit back and say you got a business and you're making money, big money, and you're getting investors in it, and they go along with it because every now and then they get a little return, and they're counting on their little return. And there are people out there who don't have anything to invest. There are people out there who are struggling just to survive. There are people out there who are breaking these laws because that's the only way they can survive. They're selling drugs. They're doing this. They're doing that. And rather than you try to fix the situation, you're putting them in jail when you caused the problem. If they had a hand in it by allowing you to do it. And my thing, ladies and gentlemen, is not fussing just at one or the other. I'm telling you how to get out of it. And to get out of it, it's going to take both. Those of you who are doing it and those of you who are having it done to you. You're going to both have to demand it. You're going to have to both stand up and say, it's free now. We're loose. We are brothers and we are sisters. Yes, we are one another's keeper. Why? Because we are a family. We are no jungle bunny any longer. We got to change this way of thinking. What gives me the right to stand before you and say, I am the spokesman of basic human rights for all people? There are others. They might be out there doing exactly the same thing I'm doing, but I don't know. All I see is what I see. And that's just bull and a vision how to clear it. But in order for it to be clear, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to take you and you. Ain't no other way. See, one thing I left out for last. Because what it is what it is. And you can't go beyond what it is when what it is all you know. But there are some, I guess for the same reason that you exist, they exist. And while you, if you knew that, might be jealous of them, yet if you knew what was required of them, you might sit back and be gracious where you're at. And that is to say this. There have been those amongst us who have been given a sign that none of the others have been given. You see, we live where we have choice. We can have the good life. When I say good life, that says we. That doesn't mean some. Or we can have the screwed up life. And that doesn't supposed to mean some. That's supposed to mean all of us. Because their justice will never allow abuse to continue. Justice will never allow persecution to continue. Oh, it will end it. And when it is ended, it might even give out mercy. But it will definitely stop it. So what I'm saying is that those who have been given that special information, it is required of them to stand up against everything. Because the bottom line, even in what you have gathered, even now that you become as close as you possibly can, your brother's keeper, you can't really finish it until you know the truth. And the truth is this, is that you are a creation of something else. And for a purpose that you know not of. But as you live and see and taste and feel and understand that the answer is not in what you have been doing. Then and only then will you seek to look somewhere else and try something new. It will definitely take something new to bring peace, prosperity, and joy, where there will be no more poverty, crime, and violence, terrorism, and war. No more need to lie, to cheat, to steal, to kill, taxation, fees. Oh, you don't need that. There's headaches for fools. You're used to land. So my challenge to all of you who hear my message today, we can begin with a level playing field. And until that happens, it is what it is. Bye-bye.